All right. Well, I guess let's just get this thing started.
3, 2, 1.
Prepare for battle, we're diving into a world unknown where legends begin. Jim, Kristen, and Brian guiding the way. In Azeroth we'll conquer, there's no time to delay. Server restarted, we're ready to play. Join us now as we fight day after day. From dungeons to raids, we'll conquer it all. In the world of Warcraft, we'll never fall. Server restarted,
Welcome back to another episode of Server Restart In. It's a weekly World of Warcraft podcast hosted by three opinionated players who like to get together to discuss their thoughts about the current state of the game. My name is Jim. I'm joined by Kristen
Hello.
and Brian.
Hi.
And it's early access. So if you bought a certain one of the Xpacs, you get start early access, start to do the questing stuff, normal dungeons, and delve, I think, up to tier 3. I think you can only go as high. It's tier 3 for delves.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that because of early access?
Yes.
I was trying to figure out what's limited.
It's limited because it's not intended for to be a gearing thing, right? You're not there's no mythic pluses, there's no heroics, there's no raid,
Isn't that normal though? That's normal the first couple weeks, isn't it?
I think that once delves go live, or once it goes live, you'll be able to do delves just whatever. I don't think it'll be gated.
When does it go
I
live?
see.
The 26th, tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Tomorrow, is it's not even on a Tuesday.
That's wild, isn't it?
29 hours from now. So, 5 p.m. Central. Just like
Dude, how different does it actually feel? Is it just me?
the game?
I mean, just the release feels so much different than any other expansion.
Well, it's because it's early access, so it's not just it's not flooded with everybody, right? Everybody's not trying to do it. Maybe I guess slight spoiler alert stuff ahead for the start of the expansion. The whole Dalaran stuff is probably instanced because I didn't see a lot of people in there when it was in early access, and you would figure that if it wasn't kind of sharded or whatnot, a bunch of small little instances, that I feel it would have been a cluster, a pain in the ass, waiting around to do, to click on people for them to respawn and all that kind of stuff. The enemies kind of spawned pretty quick, but when you're trying to rescue people or something.
I wonder, do you think that I still think it's weird for them to do early access, but do you think maybe there's some hidden agenda to help spread out the load there?
As far as launch, I mean,
Yeah.
I
maybe.
think so. That's what I always assume is that why
No, it's
games
not.
do
You
early
always
access?
assume games in general, but
games
not
in
Blizzard.
general. Yeah, not Blizzard. Blizzard just does shitty things because it's Blizzard. I mean, that is what it is. But no, I assume that most games do, especially since now Jim and I are still only in the first area because we are trying to level together and our schedules have not been aligning.
It's the worst thing
It
ever.
is pretty terrible. It's really bad. I told him yesterday, I was like, you can level without me if you want, because we just aren't. I have to study. He's got to work. He's got extracurricular
Take your
activities.
time. It feels so good.
It does
Oh my
feel
God.
better to take your time. We have a couple of people who rushed, and I'm like,
I take my time anyway.
yes, he does.
The problem is getting somebody else to slow down to take time with me.
Yeah,
Now, we didn't do this in the beta, so it's not like we've already done the quests.
Right.
Because I know, like, I think some of the other ones in the beta, you had done a lot more of the quests.
I did a bunch
so you're
of
like,
stuff.
I've already done this.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just like, I don't want to play a different character.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do it on a different character because I want to experience it all on my main character.
Yeah.
You know, which I guess somebody could argue that it doesn't matter what fucking Death Knight it is. 'Cause it's still a Death Knight.
It's still a
but
Death
it matters
Knight.
to me. You know, it's 1 out of 26.
Did you see my 72 Death Knights image that I generated for you?
No. Where is that at?
You didn't reply to it, so I assumed you didn't see it.
No, is it in the gist of the Discord?
Yeah. Let me see how far you guys scroll up here.
I will say that gathering herbs feels just as bad as it did last expansion when I bitched about it with skywriting, dragon riding, whatever.
Yeah.
It feels just as bad because when you're freaking doing gathering, you're up and down and up and down and up and down, and it feels really bad. And it felt bad, you know, at the beginning of the expansion, you know, until you got skywriting last time, and it feels just as bad this time. Like does not feel good to gather at all. So
No, yeah, it's obnoxious because it would be one thing.
Partially disagree because I actually have. I mean, the only thing about
mining
mining
is different because
It's
there's
not.
not as much mining.
Well, that's the problem, right? It's
what?
no,
What do you
Jim
mean
was-
not as much mining?
I was
Jim was
bitching about-
complaining because he said there's not a lot of mining nodes. There are a lot of herbalism
There are-
nodes.
okay.
fucking everywhere. You're insane.
Okay, when I'm flying around and I can't fucking find them because they're not there, either there's a lot of people doing it or
Did you turn it off and turn it back on?
no, I see them now. It's because I've flown around several times, so I kind of like have like the gather mate or whatever figured out. But it feels like they're very thinly populated, and either that's because somebody else is like ahead of me doing it, or kind of, you know what I mean, like they, you know how like they just despawn after a certain time.
I think you've had a kind of a shitty experience right
Well,
off the bat.
I would,
because
yeah, because I'm
I've
like,
been
well,
done, for sure.
I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is a giant rocky island full of rocky outcrops and all kinds of shit. Why is there not just like nodes fucking everywhere?
Did you see my comment the other day? We should be able. This is a hot take, so not everybody's going to agree. But we should be able to mine dead earthen.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, I agree, but then I kind of don't agree because we did that quest line for the earthen.
the light or the guy,
yeah.
the unbound one. Yeah.
Yeah, with the guy who's
That's
getting
still
ready
funny.
to, with the
It's
guy
still funny.
with the guy who's getting ready to. It was such a good quest line. It was really good, and we have somebody in our life who is kind of going through, you know, the memory stuff and stuff like that, and so it kind of hit differently. You know, it was like, oh shit, you know, like it really. I was like, we were doing it, and I was talking about it, and I was like, holy crap! I'm like, this really. Like, this is a really good quest line. Like, I kind of teared up a little bit because, you know, again, it's going to hit differently. Somebody in their 20s who maybe doesn't have anybody in their life who is going through something like that is maybe not going to feel it as much, right? Whereas somebody who's a little bit older and has, you know, maybe a parent or a grandparent who is, you know, going through stuff like that, you know, maybe it feels a little different, you know, but it was really good. It was a good
Yeah.
quest.
Brian, I think to your point, I think we can't mine them because I don't think they're made out of anything we can use. They're not made out of bismuth or iron claw ore, most likely.
Mm.
Sorry, that this thought was funny. I mean, there was a lot of dead earth, and like as soon as you like go around the zone and stuff, so I thought, wow, what a waste.
What a waste of a resource. Yeah, like
But
now
Sorry,
I
to the
have
original
no.
point, like
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say there are tons of mines.
Yeah.
I've done at least 3 or 4 runs like for 30, 45 minutes where I just fly around and do
Yeah.
mining.
I'm not saying they're not there. I'm just saying
No, I
it's
know.
just
I'm just saying the difference is like blacksmithing, and maybe it was the same before too, but it takes a lot of shit to do stuff.
I'm
So
pissed
every time
because
I go back to blacksmith, I don't really have enough to get like hardly a couple points,
Yeah.
even after doing a bunch of mining.
I got an achievement in blacksmithing that I should have fucking had ages ago. Like the Anvil Mastery 1, do 100 blacksmithing things. It's like either they reset this at the beginning of the expansion, which doesn't make sense, or it's fucked up when they did the warband shit. Because it
you're
also
right,
told me to
actually.
craft the sulfuran hammer. Like I don't have that achievement, and I have sulfurous. And that's like one of the precursors is to make that fucking hammer. I know I fucking did that. I made it for you.
Yes, you did make it.
So, I mean, it's like, I've done this, and it's just like, I put a post on the bug forum, but like, I feel like I lost achievements.
Yeah.
You're
I mean,
right. No, it's actually like mine's there too.
Yeah.
I'm
But, like,
62 out of 100, so
It's like, I
I don't
know
know.
that, like, there was that period of time back in Dragonflight where when you logged in, you got like all
A
those
ton of
achievements like in a
achievements.
row,
Yeah.
right? Where for like having crafted stuff or having, all that stuff. And it was just like, so I don't know. I'm like now I have to go back and do all this. Like I'm missing things for the Legion stuff. Like
Yeah, same
like
here. actually.
like the face stone seams and all that stuff, or whatever whatever that stuff is. I'm like, I fucking
Yeah.
did, like, that's all I did in Legion. Like I flew around so goddamn much and farmed every motherfucking node
Yeah.
in that goddamn Broken Isles, or Broken Shores or whatever the hell it was. It's like, I know I got those achievements. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, you're right. You're
hopefully they can
absolutely
fix that. But like, that's obnoxious.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to go back and do that again.
I
Yeah.
wonder if it is because it's now warband.
I'm sure that's what it is, and I'm sure what it is the order that they combined the characters in, right? And somehow taking a character that didn't have it and combining it somehow overwrote progress on it.
Yeah.
Instead of amalgamating it for those, it just took whatever the last one was or something like that. Maybe. I don't know.
I think.
Well, I will say real quick that I don't know if they were gone last expansion, in the expansion before, but there are seams again,
Mm-hmm.
mining seams.
Yeah.
Were they? I remember them from Legion, but were they in BFA, Shadowlands, or Dragonflight? I don't remember.
I don't mind, so I don't know. Pay attention. I think that vigor needs to recharge faster when you're grounded, like because
I have ran into that too. Holy crap!
that's my
That's the
main
problem with
that's my
gathering.
main problem with gathering is for like I gather however many nodes like because I'm going up and down and up and down and it's like I get to that last node and then I'm grounded and I have to run around on the ground and I'm like that feels bad.
Either put
Another hot take. Ready? It does feel bad, but like a couple times that I just kind of stopped and chilled out for a minute. I actually kind of like that.
Oh yeah, I don't
well,
like that.
so
I'm not a stop and chill around person.
it would be different
like,
if
I
we
think-
were doing other stuff.
Yeah.
There's stuff to do.
Well, I think my point is like the dragon flying or whatever flying it's called now.
Skywriting.
Dynamic.
Skywriting.
Did they call it sky?
Skywriting.
Bastards
Yeah,
changing the
it's
name.
Skywriting. Yeah.
So it quickly takes away the zone depth.
I don't think so. The
Not
zone
as-
feels huge.
Not as bad as it still feels huge, but it's not like once you get going and kind of get around places, I don't know, the perception scales
To
really quickly
me,
down.
Regular flying feels better in that regard because it takes you you're not going as fast. So
Yeah.
you're, so you don't.
Well, that's why I kind of like the whole you can't just use it whenever you want it type of thing. and it kind of stops you every so often. It would be nice if it was more like a soft stop, if that makes sense, instead of a hard stop. Because I did find myself like just sitting there for like a minute or two
That's
to get it to
annoying.
recharge.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah,
It was annoying, but like I don't know, like
okay, so they had these in Remix. The fucking mount biscuits, just make it something that you can just kind of have, and if you're kind of like
yeah, but I mean, at that point though, if they add something like that in, and you don't have to do really much other than spend a gold or something to get them, like it's going to be another scenario. Like, what's the point? You know what I mean? It needs to be like something needs to be functional there to be able to regenerate. I don't know, like do something to regenerate at a higher rate, or
make the mount.
Make a new. We have a new glyph thing, or we don't have new glyphs, but we had to do the exploration things and get the little collect the coins again. So make
I think
a
you
thing.
get a mount for all of them.
Oh, okay. So, but make a thing in there where you recharge vigor faster while you're on the ground or whatever.
I
You
would
know what I
say-
mean? Like an exponential rate. Like make it, because
Now,
it feels bad
this
when
works-
you're grounded.
My idea will work for everything except for druids, because druids are doing and Dracthyr, because they are the mount, but make the mount interactable and such that like you have to like do like a little mini game to like
Ugh.
no,
Yes,
not like a hard game, but like how like after you ride a horse, you have to like brush it down and all that stuff because it's exerted itself, and it's fatigued kind of thing, just kind of a brush down, and you could like, or something like that, make it feel like the mount is like an actual thing other than just a utility. Like
the only reason that would work though is because you don't hit the scenario very often. Like you definitely hit it for sure, but
when
you
you're
don't hit it that often, and so having it just available at that point is great. Like even if it's just like you hop off and calm it or whatever, like that'd be kind of cool.
You hit it more often when you're farming and there's altitude.
Yeah.
Because you have to use a lot to
that's
go
what I'm
up.
saying. Like I did a lot up and down like over the week, like yesterday and Friday, and I hit it. I hit that situation a few times, but not a lot. So it's either you fucking suck at dragon flying, or
I mean, I'm not
like you shouldn't be hitting it all that much, right?
But I am, because I'm constantly up and down because of the nodes, the way the nodes are interspersed for herbalism.
I'd argue that you're abusing the concept of flying and how they changed it, right? Because the way they changed it means that there is still repercussions of trying to fly the wrong way.
But I'm not.
Right? So
you have to go up. You have to go up to fly.
The problem is when you have areas that aren't. It's like if it was like you're going up. If you go up and then you just work your way down, then you don't run into the problem, right? Because you don't need the vigor. But if you're going up and down and up and down, and like. But then that means that there's a prescribed path to do it, and as opposed to just you see something and go do it.
In most airplanes, you can't go straight up, right? Like they slowly ascend. But even in this case, like did what was the other game that had this? You guys referenced
Guild Wars.
Guild Wars 2. Did it have a system like that too?
Yeah, you had to land and let a meter build up, right? Mm-hmm. And stuff like that. It
did not feel great. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy dragon riding in Guild Wars 2. It was not an enjoyable thing. Like, it was cool because it was like, we can have flying. But I did not like the implementation of it. I did not think that it was a good implementation. I don't think it was something that WoW should have. I think they should have iterated better on it.
The problem is mixing the two different types of content, the gathering and the flying, right? I don't think gathering was as big a deal in Guild Wars 2 because I don't think you had as many items to farm higher up. It was more for like achievement type runs and stuff like that to get things, and it was like kind of like puzzle solving.
Right. It wasn't. You
Whereas
weren't flying all the time like in WoW.
Yeah, it just doesn't mix well with gathering, especially if you've played the game for any length of time, and you come from the old school, it's like, oh, just fly around, follow the path, and all that stuff.
Well,
Which
I
is
will say
what
the one
gathering
thing that
usually
I-
is.
The one thing I do know that they could definitely like improve, and I don't think it would matter one way or another, is the regeneration rate of when you coast at the ground.
Yes.
Yeah, that's because like that is
But
supposed to
again,
do that, but
That's what I mean. You
No,
have to
it does.
jump
It's
up.
terrible.
You have to use the jump up to be able to get to that. So you're using
you
a
have to
vigor
have-
right there.
or you have to be able to fall off of something.
Right.
You
But
get to
I'm
have
not,
Well,
when you're down
mine,
at the.
mine is always like, and I know what you're talking about because I was going up the mountain behind the main city or whatever in the first zone, and I would find myself, go jump up, angle slightly down, kind of teeter around it, generate one, jump up, and then I'd finally get to the point where I could jump up, angle down quickly enough where I was regenerating one over and over. And that's what I used in Dragonflight, like to
Right.
get around places.
Yeah.
But there were some points that like I at one point I was doing something on the beaches down there.
Yeah.
And I ran out and I slightly had to go uphill and like I'm immediately done dragon flying.
Yeah.
And that's like I'm like, oh shit, I can't even like coast on the ground here because I'm
Yeah.
in a slight angle and that's it.
Yeah.
And so like it's like the mountain thing doesn't bother me because I feel like that is like I'm riding a fucking bird. It's struggling to get up. You know what I mean? Like I really like that feeling of I don't know if you call it immersiveness or not, but it's not like the old flying where it's just swimming in the air. I really like that.
I mean-
you got to figure out your way. You can't just go from point A to point P to point B in a straight line. Like that always is like, God, it's just the game is just a fucking another job to do whenever it's just that.
I
So
don't-
having these different ways of like having to do these things, I do enjoy. It's just silly shit like when you coast on the ground and regenerate, but I can't do it because I'm at an angle, and then I got to land and walk. You
Yeah.
know, like if you're not going to implement exhaustion and weather changes that affect your flying and feed your mount, and keep it.
Oh,
and all
God,
this crap, like,
no. No.
then don't add those silly things
Well,
to it.
they can't really
But-
do that because, I mean, you think about like druids and stuff like that, right? Like, and a lot of this applies specifically because I play a druid, right? So I'm not mounting, I'm turning into the mount.
I don't.
You know what I mean?
But
So
it's the same Yeah, some of like the solutions that we've talked about. Again, Drakthir and Druids don't really
right.
benefit from the immersive, like, oh, well, we'll give you something to kind of get it back, but make it like an in-game mechanic. Because it's like, what are you going to do? Comb your own hair as a druid? Shapeshift
Yeah.
out into it and stuff? It's
Yeah.
like, but I mean, it's just like, oh, you're going to eat dragon riding treats? It's like, what am I, a fucking dog now?
I
know?
wish that the toggle between skyride. So right now I kind of hate flying the way that it is. Because druids got nerfed essentially, right? Because when they made it so that way you could when they put it all together, so you're either doing dragon riding the way that it was before with druids. When you were on a dragon riding mount, you could use dragon riding, or you could have, you had it switched over to the regular riding. You could just immediately flip into druid mode, right? And then just, not do dragon riding, right? Do regular riding. Now, the way that it is, there's no immediate switching back and forth. I wish that they would just make it an instant switch. Because that doesn't really impact people who aren't dragon, but it feels like a nerf to druids.
Yeah, Druids lost
Yeah.
the thing, and it
feels bad because it's like, I was like, ooh, this is going to be, it'll be cool. It'll be immersive doing dragon riding on my druid. And then I did it in the beta and I was like, oh, this kind of feels shitty from what we had. Because I could just get on a dragon riding mount and do dragon riding, and I had the best of both worlds.
I think the problem is one, they would, and then I guess with Drakthir having it too. Well, no, not even Drakthir because they didn't have normal flying. You get the best of both worlds, but when they put it in so that it was an either or, right? You can either have regular riding or sky riding, and all the mounts can do it, right? It's like every other class has to pick one.
Yeah.
But then what happens with druids is either if you want sky riding, you have to use a mount,
Yep.
and then you don't give the flight form skywriting abilities. It's always whatever. And
Right.
then now you can't fly in the zone. There's no point of having flight form until you're level 80.
Well, you use a mount.
But now you're forcing druids to use a mount when
Well, that's what they did for all of last expansion.
and I think that they felt that took away from the druid, but now you can't have
Well, did they do it last expansion because like the theme was dragon flight related,
yes.
and they wanted
well,
to push people through
Well, sure, probably. I mean,
Well, I mean, if you think about it, even if it was like that in Shadowlands and it was like that in BFA, because you couldn't fly until you got Pathfinder or level 80 or whatever anyway, right?
Yeah.
So it was a flight. In previous expansions, you could not fly till the end after some achievement, right? You were max level and you got an achievement. It was later in the expansion that flight was introduced.
Yeah.
Because they were just going to take it out in general, and people bitch about it, say, okay, well, we'll put it back in. But you have to do like rep grinds and all that stuff to unlock it, right? And that's like, we had the flight whistle, which is like a quick way to get to a flight point.
I missed the flight whistle. I don't know
Oh,
why
I
they
do
stopped
too,
doing
Well,
that.
it's funny because I was doing the Draenei Heritage armor I finished all my Heritage armors. The Draenei got a Hearthstone that only Draenei and Lightforged Draenei can use.
Oh,
but-
really?
Yeah, it's like a hologram thing, like a hollow crystal or whatever. But gnomes get a beacon, which is not a toy. It's a fucking item you have to keep, but I think it
Ew.
summons like a gnome like a little gnome plane, like a flight whistle to take you back. But it should be a fucking toy, not a fucking
I
whatever. But
Wish that they would just make things toys and stop cluttering up our bags with shit. Like, please.
yeah. But yeah, so not having flight, so like putting dragon riding in was kind of like, well, you get flight before flight, and it's a new flight. So now it's just like, but once you hit max level and you can do regular flying in the new zones, it's not going to be like it was in Dragonflight now, because if you're in skywriting mode, you are skywriting and you can't flip,
Yeah.
so
They should just make it a instacast flip. Like, it's stupid. to not.
I'm wondering.
Because either way, right, if it dismounts you, normal people aren't going to be able to do it anyway because it'll dismount you, right? Whereas druids can just go right back. So it would fix the what we had before, but it would still keep it so it would be not everybody could do it,
Yeah. But the question becomes, is there a way to abuse that would... There must be something that either is abusive or game breaking to where that isn't an allowed thing to swap.
No, it's
between
just
it instantly.
Blizzard.
You say that.
Yes,
But-
I do.
I don't know.
It's just Blizzard, like being
I don't
all,
know.
It's the same thing with like, shoot, I was just gonna say it, and then of course I'm running for my life right now.
Too busy farming flowers to
That's
remember
what I
your
was.
thoughts.
That's what I was doing. Yes. Oh, that farming flowers. Just like they did last year or last Xpac, and it's fucking terrible. The different stupid tiers of fucking herbs. Jesus fucking Christ, stop that. It's terrible. It's terrible. It is so bad. Like, just make herbs and mining too, right? It takes up bag space. It's annoying.
Well,
It's
The different ranks of them? is that what you're talking about?
yes. Yes,
So-
it's so fucking annoying.
I think it eliminates the need for progressive or like more types, right? Because a lot of the earlier ones, it's like, oh, you had to use these things to make this potion, but the next rank potion, you had to get different materials.
You know what would do that? You know what they could do? They could do, what Final Fantasy does and utilize older things so people go back into the old world and...
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you have, like, you can only use, like, these herbs for a certain level of whatever, like, potions. And then to get, like, the next level up of potions that are better, you need different herbs. So rather than having, like, 12 herbs that you need to get for it, you have 3 herbs with 3 ranks, right? And you just use higher ranking ones to get higher ranking potions. So now you've reduced the type of herbs and the type of potions, and now they're just ranked as opposed to I don't know.
I think they're just creating the problem with that to what is it? Creating a problem to have that solution or something like that, right? Like I think that they don't need to do that. You can just up your chance of getting things. Like, don't you remember in was it Legion where you had where you got bonus things instead of, you don't have to necessarily, you got the ranks and then you could get like bonus things and stuff like that. Like that was way better.
I think the way it works though, right, is like once you get a certain level, you don't get lower rank ones anymore. So like you get the lower rank ones to level up whatever it is for the lower ranks, and then once you're in the higher ranks, you're no longer getting lower rank things. So you're not having the clutter. You just have the higher rank ones anyway.
I always would get, when I would make things, would still get lower rank ones, even though I was
like farming. Like
yeah,
at a certain
still
point?
get lower ones.
I don't think so. I think once you hit a certain point of whatever it is, like your knowledge or like your level or like your stats or whatever, I don't think you get lower rank ones anymore. I think you only start to get higher rank ones. And the only reason
Towards the end of Dragonflight, I was just going to the bank and buying everything. So,
well, yeah. But I think like the lower rank stuff, just you end up not having it. Plus, they give you stuff to up it into like the next rank. You know,
I don't know. I think they did a shitty job with. I do not like crafting and gathering.
I mean,
it's
I like
not
it.
enjoyable.
It's not perfect, but I like it better than it used to be.
Oh God, not
honestly.
me. I think it is
Really?
terrible
I feel
now.
like it used to be just completely throwaway at a certain point, though.
It used to be you could just be self-sustaining and not have to put a significant amount of effort into it. I don't want to put a significant amount of effort into it. I want to just be able to go on to something, do what I need to do, and then get back to my main character. Like I do not like it at all. I did just hit 75 from herping though.
Oh, I'm close.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
2 levels of freaking gathering experience.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's why I said this morning in chat that I don't know how far I am in. Oh, I have 2 out of 3 chapters done in Isle of Dorn. And
I
so,
think we just have
and I
one.
have
We just
not,
have probably one, and I don't know that we've even finished it.
well, that's why I haven't stepped foot into the next zones at all.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, me
And,
either.
and I don't worry about that so much because, again, I guess
yeah, no, I'm not worried either. I'm actually having a blast and taking my time. So,
yeah, I mean, there's no rush. There's no reason to
The-
do anything.
The only thing I'm concerned about is I want to make sure that we're able to do Mythic Plus like right off the jump when it, you know what I mean?
But with Mythics being were they daily were they weekly and now Mythic Zeros, were they weekly, now they're going to be daily? Or was it
Yes.
they were
They
daily?
were sailing daily.
no, they were weekly.
Yeah, they were weekly.
So now they're going to be daily, which means I think that's what it was. or if there was not going to be a lockout.
Is it still going to be not queuable though?
Mythics, I don't think ever were queuable, and I don't know if they were intended.
Right, yeah, that's
to
what I'm
be.
saying. They're keeping it that, but they're making it daily. Is what you're saying? 'Cause that's. I mean, I like that. Don't get me wrong, but like just making sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of.
Because at least then we can consistently gear more often. Than...
Yeah, they're gonna reset daily.
Oh.
So
Can I complain?
yes, I mean, well,
I mean, it's all one long complaint for me, but frickin' Blizzard. Oh, we're
Gonna start a new
finally gonna
podcast.
make it so you can queue cross faction, but only if you're in a full group. Like, Jesus,
you complained about this
frickin'
last week.
Christ. Oh, I did.
I think so.
I didn't think I saw it until after.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's dumb. It's stupid. It means you still got to get a full fucking group,
Yeah.
and that doesn't solve anything.
No.
It's just like, okay, yeah, sure. Now you got a full group, but what about if you don't have a full group, but you want to play with somebody that's an opposite faction and you want to go do that? It's like you either have to go put it in the group finder to fill it,
Yeah.
or not do it.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It should just be cross-faction queuing, and it should be an opt-in, opt-out thing, and I don't understand why they just don't do it.
I think what they should do is they should make it, if you're in a party with somebody that's in the opposite faction, then it treats you like you're in a, maybe they make another faction, right? Like something like just on the back end, right? That we don't see, that puts you, if you're in a party, because Jim and I play together, right? And we're in different factions, and I can't heal him when we're out in the world. Not that he really needs healing, but I like to heal. That's why I play a healer. And so I like to throw hots on people, even though they're unnecessary, but I can't do that.
I can understand open world stuff, right?
If
Just
you're in a
because-
party, I do not understand that. Because I've
mean,
already said that
that-
you're.
I don't know. It allows you to party because that's how you go into the instances and stuff like that. Like that's like the framework for entering that stuff. So I can understand being in the party, but not being able to do it because it's still the opposite faction, because that's just how the world is set up, because you still have different points in the world that are faction-based cities and towns and have aggro and all that other stuff.
Well, then why even allow people to party outside in
So
the
that
open
because
world?
you can't go into a instance without being in a party.
Yeah.
You can't form the instance inside. You can't form the party inside the instance.
All right.
Right. That's how you enter the instance.
Yeah.
So you make the party and then you go in, and
Yeah,
it creates that
Yeah.
that instance for that party. Right.
Right.
But just make it an opt-in thing where it's just a different pool of people that you pull from to create the party, and it forms the party and sends into the instance. I don't understand why they can't just do that.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's there's nothing out there that's really faction based that they already haven't excluded from cross faction parties that exists.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't impact how the thing works. Like Battle for Dazar lore, faction based. Yep, bosses are in a different order, and you have the swap for different bosses, and the bosses are different, right? You get the Grong is different depending on if you're Alliance or Horde, that kind of stuff. ICC, the warship thing, right? Cool. That stuff we talked about. Triley Crusader, right? You're fighting different things, and if you're Alliance and you're in a Horde instance, and the guys that come out are Alliance based, you can't attack them, right? Because that's like that kind of sucks. So that makes sense to a point, but none of the dungeons none of the recent dungeons have had anything other than maybe what boss you're fighting, and maybe that's part of like the Time Ways one. Like maybe because when the ads go active, but even then, I don't think that's a big deal. You just make them hostile to both factions and stuff like that, because those are instance mobs. They're not, unless they're just copying code from other shit and don't want to go like mucking about with it and just reusing like instances of NPCs across the thing, and it would break stuff. But like, yeah, no. It'd be nice to do time walking and just queue for it and go do it. It'd be nice to just queue for heroics and like dungeons and stuff like that. If you were going to do that, I mean, you kind of can. It would be nice to do follower dungeons.
Yes.
With, 2 people and then queue for it. Luckily, delves you just walk in, it doesn't queue you. So luckily we were able to do delves.
Yeah.
Because you just walk into those, you don't have to queue for those. So it's like going into a dungeon. So that works out. But yeah.
It's annoying. It's just, it makes it feel less accessible. You know what I mean? And
well, it's not even that it's less accessible. It's just that
it ruins it,
because
it makes it feel like a lesser user experience.
It's well, I mean, it's like it's not less accessible because it was never available, but like they're starting to add these things into it. It seems like they're going in that direction, and they're just not going all the
far
way
enough. Yeah,
it's like
they're half-assing it.
And like literally, if they would just to come out and say, "Look, we're trying to do this. It's really hard." Just say that.
Yeah.
Don't be like, "Well, we don't want that," or "We don't want to force people into other groups and all that stuff." It's like, don't fucking blow smoke. It's like that's just some bullshit fucking excuse. It's like, just say, "This is a really hard problem with the infrastructure and the code base that we have, and we are working on it. We have no timetable for it, but we're investigating." Something like that. That would be fine. That would be an acceptable answer. That would be something that people could swallow and at least know that, hey, they're working on it. If they come out and go, "Look, we tried, and without like extensive rewrites that just aren't worth it, we're not going to do it." And like that would suck. But, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean.
So, okay.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, we talked about a lot of stuff that we don't like.
I was just going to say some good stuff.
Okay. It's like, I was going to say, maybe we should talk about,
I was going to say something nice. I was going to say that all of the time that I didn't log in from the end of the time that we finally got me to 2K.
She logged in for early access, and it had to make her warband.
Yes.
Because she hadn't logged in at all since.
I hadn't logged. Yeah, we got together one night, and I finally got my stupid 2K rating, and then I didn't log in at all for the rest of the time until Thursday for early access. Jim was. Where were you? You were doing. Oh, you were doing
bagpipe thing. A couple hours away.
And so I was like, okay, I should be studying, but let me just log on and get all my add-ons updated and get everything updated. And then I was like, then I did I finally did the pre-patch
story stuff.
And that was kind of fun. I actually enjoyed that. And so I think that the time that I had off where I was not playing, I don't want to say we weren't playing because Jim was still playing, but I was not playing, was a nice reset for me because I am logging in and I am enjoying playing. So that is my nice thing, as much as I'm not enjoying herbalism or the changes to skywriting for druids. I am enjoying the other, and that quest line was really good. That the earthen one.
So far, the story seems pretty good.
I mean, we haven't really delved too far into the story, to be honest.
Oh,
We're at the beginning.
But you can see that we've come across the new race, right? And like, there's already like 3 main factions plus the people that like don't want to follow anything, and you got like the people that are like the staunch. This is our cast. And this is what we do. Yeah. And stuff like that. And you got the people like, no, not really. We just want to do whatever. And it's just like, it's not a perfect society that we're like running into. It's not just,
right, where it's not harmonious.
Just, we got rock dwarves that are being attacked by under spiders. It's like, there's internal conflicts and disagreement.
Or
under crabs. Yes. If you are arachnophobic, which
I am not. I am, but I'm not. In video games,
I want to turn it on, and I want to go redo the Dalaran thing and see if when the princess or the queen comes out, if she's a
giant crab,
or if she's still a spider person.
That's fucking
because that's like the whole character.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that would be interesting to see.
I wish it was just Mr. Krabs.
I was gonna say you need crusty
Mr. Pinchy.
Mr. Pinchy.
Mr. Pinchy should have been a raid boss.
Yeah.
If you have arachnophobia, if you have the arachnophobic mode on, he's a hidden boss.
That would be amazing.
That would be fantastic.
I love my Mr. Pinchy.
Yeah, I need to do all this stuff. But yeah, so it's like it's not a perfect like just black and white thing. There's already like other stuff going on with it. So, you know, we're doing that.
Let me ask you then real quick. Or how do you feel about the
Is this spoiler territory stuff?
no,
Okay.
the mannerisms of the earthen resonate like coding, and it annoys the shit out of me.
Oh, because especially the ones who are like, you know, like following
Like the Titan stuff was like that already, but they are very much like I don't know. Even just like the
they're very
objects that are that
they're
say
robotic.
null, and I'm like, oh god.
It's
I mean that doesn't mean it has to be like.
super
that-
software oriented.
Well, I mean, I never felt like the earthen were that way when they kind of existed before this, but
Well, so these earthen have been isolated for how long?
know they're different. Blah blah blah. It's like that with everything they make. Goblins.
It doesn't.
Goblins are a
It
certain
doesn't.
way.
Bother,
and-
what I think is nice is when you got the ones that are the Unbound, which have kind of left that, and like you can like they stutter because they're like falling back onto the old way, and they're like, oh wait, no, it's supposed to be like hello, you know, instead of like we're like they're trying to be more.
Interrupted. But
I feel like I
kept
asked
saying that. and I'm like, what?
I asked Jim, I'm like, are they AI? Like, because I felt
If-
like that was kind of like what they were going for a little bit with it.
I
Like,
don't know. You can tell it's like, oh, they're isolated, but they had a purpose, and they formed a society around this thing they had to protect, and blah 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 blah.
Well, they
But
have
it's
the
like,
they have the directives. Yeah.
I know, but it gets so like, like nobody's gonna notice it unless you're in it, I guess. But it's fucking annoying.
It doesn't bother me. I don't mind it. I don't mind the whatever part of it. You know, it's just
Yeah,
it just is.
it's a me thing.
It's really hard to make me.
oh, Brian,
not
I
like
see you.
them. Did you just
What?
fly by him in game?
No, I just saw
Oh.
him talking guild chat. I didn't realize you were on too.
Yeah, everybody's playing
Oh.
with Jim.
I've been mining and fishing the whole time,
Yeah, I've been gathering herbs. Yeah.
and I found a shore treasure. What? That's cool.
I do like. Okay, so treasure icons on the map aren't just treasure chests. I found a treasure icon and it was a fish that was stranded from Dalaran.
Oh, that's cool.
Stranded thing. So you have to kick him into the water. Or you have to put him back in the water and you kick him. And he's like, why the hell did you kick me?
Right? Like, what the frick? You could just
and then he
scoop
goes,
him up.
well, and then he goes, well, it's like, I'm kind of hungry too. And I don't really have a lot of strength right now because I've been kind of stranded. Like
And
maybe
you kicked me.
maybe you could get me something to eat so that way I can like swim out and not get washed back up on the shore. So you have to go around and like find something. And eventually you can figure out that there's like some crabs that you can pick up that are like all around this island, and you get them and you feed them to him. And then he's like, cool. And then he swims away and he leaves you a little treasure chest or a little treasure, which has like some
So that's cool.
rep, and that one has a pet. But like it like, yeah. So like a lot of these things are like, you have to do things to earn the treasure
Right.
that it is.
I like it if they make that kind of intuitive and it's not
Well,
you have to do 6 bazillion steps and it's like, oh,
Like-
make sure that the sun is high in the sky at, you know, blah 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 on a sunny day with, you know what I mean? Like
there's one where there's like a little sheep that you have to like kind of interact with 3 times to get back to its thing, and then it drops something and you get, which is that's pretty, you see where it runs and you can go to the next point.
sure.
There's one where you have to like somehow lure some crabs up to a rock giant in a cave up in a mountain, and I'm like, there's no crabs around here. I'm like, how far do I have to go to find these fucking crabs? To like,
Did you find it yet?
no,
because I still have.
I
Yeah.
haven't. And like,
I've tried so many crabs.
well, it tells you what type of crab it is, and there's one on top of the damn thing, and it doesn't
Oh.
do anything. It's on the giant, but I don't think that that's the one. I think you had to go find another one and lure it back with a stick. And I'm like,
Hmm.
the fuck? But like, I enjoyed that, and
I
it's
love
kind of
the ones that just don't give you any kind of like, just you got to figure it out. I know that things will get figured out, and then
Well,
you go
you-
online
you-
and figure it out.
well, yeah, but you talk to them. Well, you talk to them, and there's like hints in the what they say. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's just like, so you kind of know what to do. Like the fish is like, oh, I'm hungry, so okay, well, I gotta feed him something. And once you go around and like, there's critters around the thing, and you're like, oh wait, these have a different icon. It's not a kill icon. It's the hand icon. So you pick them up. Okay, pick one up, go over. He doesn't have anything different. Okay, well, you look at the item and it's like 1 of 5, like unique kind of thing. Like, well, let me get 5 of them and bring them back. And then once you have all 5 of them, you talk to him and he goes, oh yeah, and you feed them to him and he goes, thanks, and swims away and leaves you the treasure. The treasures are kind of not buggy, but they take like 2 or 3 minutes to even fucking show up. So like half the time I'm like, is this broken? Am I not gonna get this? But
Well, let me tell you about one that I found. And I'm not sure if you checked chat at all yesterday, but I was flying on the northern part of the Isle of Dorn. And there's like this inlet river thingy that splits 2 peaks.
okay,
And right on the northern edge of the easternmost one, there's this, I think it was there, it's somewhere up there between the two, I don't recall maybe. But there was a house. And there's nobody in it. And you go in, and there's a purple chest. And you loot their stuff. And leave. It's a world chest, an open world chest that's in someone's house. You go rob their house. And that's that.
that was it.
It's not fucking awkward. I did it, and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. This is clearly someone's house. It's very like earthen house or whatever. And all the other, house stuff area that you go into, it's exactly like that.
Yeah,
Really pristine looking weapons. The cooker thing is running, all that stuff. And there's a chest you can loot. Nobody's in the house. You go in and loot it and leave.
I mean that's pretty.
Okay.
That's pretty par for the course. In WoW.
I mean, is it? If you're in enemy territory, there's a chest. Yes.
I
But
mean,
you find someone's random house and you loot it. I just thought it was fucking weird.
yeah.
Oh,
Maybe
God,
there is
sorry.
supposed to be something there. Maybe something didn't happen and you just got lucky.
Well, it'd be cool if somebody jumped out and be like, "Hey, why are you stealing my shit?" and then try to attack you or something. That'd be kind of fun. But
Yeah.
go find it. You'll figure out why it's kind of awkward. I don't know. I
wh-
like open world chess things, but it was weird. So
Yeah. I have to say that Dornegal, I like the feel of it. Even with the skywriting shit, it's a huge city. Like, I still don't know my way around. I still have to talk to the guard, like, where the fuck is the bank again?
Oh, I don't know where anything is.
Yeah. And like, but like the city itself I like the layout of it because it's not just like, it's not like we haven't been there before. It's not like Dalaran where it's a big circle. It's not like Valdrakken where everything's like in one spot and you only have to go off for a few little things. It's like pretty spread out and pretty sprawling, and it has a sense of just enormity.
I miss Dalaran Circle though. Like
We like to run around the circle. I found
I do.
it was somebody posted a video on
This
Twitter
is
or something
funny.
like that, and it was just like somebody was just doing something like waiting for like the early access to start, and they're just skywriting in a circle around Dalaran.
Which is
Which I sent it to her, and I'm like, this feels like something you would be doing,
yep.
because she would just
Oh yeah.
It just run around in cat form, just run around a
Run
circle.
around in a
Dalaran.
circle in Dalaran, like over and over and over again. Yes, it was. That was definitely a thing. Yes.
Yeah.
I
So-
mean, I even did it last expansion around the thing in the center in Valdrakken. You know.
Yeah.
Around and around and and I would just be doing it like mindlessly, and then people would be running along with me, like people in our groups and stuff would run along with me, and they'd be like, "I'm running right next to you," and I'm like, "Oh shit, I didn't even notice." I'm just,
Yeah, I don't know. I like the layout. I'm looking forward to getting to other zones at some point. One day, maybe.
I guess I'm not gonna play the cult game today. I'll we'll level a little bit maybe.
Yeah. We got a new game.
Oh my god, it's so
on-
much
It's
fun.
called The Cult of the Lamb.
Oh yeah.
It's a PlayStation game.
And it's a little bit of like so it's got different kinds of aspects. So you go out and it's almost got like a Zelda map, and it's almost like Zelda. You run around and you fight and you kill enemies and you collect stuff. But you are also, what you were trying to do is you were killing heretics and trying to build up a cult to free the one below, who you are like the incarnation of, or not incarnation, but you're like his herald kind of thing. And so like
Mhm.
it's got base building, kind of like you build I'm trying to think of what it's like. It's almost like Animal Crossing meets Zelda meets Satanic Cult.
Yeah.
So you have to like chop trees down, build farm plots, assign people. It feels a lot like Pal World.
Yeah.
Like when
Well-
did you play where you build the base and you assign them to do the different tasks and
Yeah.
stuff like that?
Yeah.
And it's like, but you get followers and you can hold like unholy sermons
And
to gather
sacrifice
faith.
people.
You can have sacrifices. You can have like ritual bonfire. And it's just like,
It's really cool.
it's insane.
It's very cool.
It's so stupid. But like you're just, and it's all like these cutesy little animal looking creatures and
Yep.
stuff like that. Or like, and they get sick, and until you build an outhouse, they just shit out everywhere. Me and my buddy were playing. Me and my buddy were playing
Last
yesterday,
night, yeah.
and one of the followers came up and was just like, "Hey, boss man, I've always had this desire to have a poop meal. Would you make me a poop meal for me
Oh
to
what?
shit a poop meal?"
Yeah. They
So
made
you
him
make him a meal of poop, and he eats it, and he gets sick, and he pukes, and he goes, "Thank you,
And he's
oh
happy.
Lord," kind of thing. And it's like, I'm like, what the fuck?
we just
All
fed
right.
somebody poop. Awesome. Yeah.
It was weird.
It's fun though, and even more fun because I sometimes just don't like to play things for challenge. I just like to play things just to relax and do stuff. So it's gotta like enable HP, like you don't ever lose HP.
It's just super easy mode.
Yeah,
is all.
yeah,
For
yeah.
the
And I'm
fighting.
like, so I'm just running around, just like, I don't play a lot of things on the PlayStation because I'm not a console gamer. I'm a PC gamer. So I don't have the muscle memory for like the controllers and stuff. And so, I'm like, it takes me a little bit of time, but it's got a co-op. So Jim and I can play it together.
Yeah, it's got local co-op. So
So it's kind of nice. I mean, he'll probably be annoyed with me playing it, but it's still fun. Like it definitely, I was having a good time. Like I was like, oh, we got to do the podcast. Okay, I guess I'll stop playing this right now.
What was it called again?
Cult of the Lamb.
Yeah.
Basically, it starts off and they like there's these 4 bishops for like these other part like of the old faith, and you're the last lamb, and they kill you
So
so that you can't bring about the guy that they have chained up.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's the prophecy. It's like the lamb will herald the coming of the one below kind of thing. And he goes, "Oh, they killed you. Well, how about I send you back to life, but you have to make a cult that worships me and just build a cult." And you go out and you collect followers, and like when you do like your little crusades to go out and do stuff, you have different routes you can take, and you can only go a certain way when it's done. You can always go back and do it, but it's just like it's insane.
It's fun.
Mm.
It's definitely.
And then when you do co-op, like the main character is the lamb. When you do co-op, the other person is a goat.
Yeah.
So like you're like the sacrificial goat kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like you just run around and kill stuff. It's great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It is a lot of fun. Like I am enjoying it quite a bit. So it's hard because it's like I don't need another game to play. I mean, it's not like an MMO. You can just pick it up and put it down and whatever. But it's like I just want to play that now.
I will say too, I found a like another website / add-on thing that's been pretty good. It's called Wow Thing. And it just uses it to track like all like achievements, mounts, all kinds of stuff. It's almost like WoW Armory, but it's got like a nice layout. And there's an add-on you can get that keeps track in a Lua file, and then you can get like you can either upload it manually. I think it will pull it in from your BattleNet, or you can get like a little desktop utility that'll like upload it when there's changes and stuff like that. But like I used it to be like, oh, what heritage armor sets am I missing? So now I have all those complete. I'm like, do I have everything from the world event? Did I get all those things? It's like I did. I could check that, and you can use it to tell if you've like got everything from a map, or a zone, or like dungeons and stuff like that. So it's a pretty neat thing. There's no ads or anything on it. It's just, it was pretty neat. I liked it. So shout out to that guy, wowthing.com. I don't know.
Wow Thing.
All right. I need to get some WoW on at some point. So I think we'll go ahead and kind of wrap things up now here. Any parting thoughts on the early access?
Seems okay.
It was perfect.
I will say it was nice not having just a clusterfuck go on. I don't know if we're going to see a clusterfuck when it goes live.
Yeah, we
tomorrow.
need to get out of the first zone probably.
I don't even think that. I just don't know if like it's just gonna fuck up all the rest of the servers and all that stuff.
Let me check and see if my Final Fantasy group is meeting today.
I think that I don't mind the early access. You don't really get any benefit other than getting away. Oh, somebody hit fucking level 80 in 61 minutes.
No way.
Yes. I don't know if there was exploits involved or if they just did some strategic quest and dungeons and stuff like that. But I'm like, how the fuck can you do it that fast? It's like, that's ridiculous. It's like, do you even know what game you're playing at that point? Because
I think my son got it on Friday. He got 8 to 80 on Friday, but that's it.
That's this thing, right? This is what sucks about having to be fucking adults.
Yeah.
Is that you can't just sit down. Like, we could have been 80 the first fucking day.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Does it suck though? Because I remember playing in BC and being addicted to the fucking game, and that was a terrible time looking back.
I don't think I've ever had a terrible time. I've always was able to balance.
No, the feeling that you... Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know.
I went to school full time, worked full time, went through a whole bunch of life events, and still managed to play hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of Lich King. And
we did have a good time during
Yeah.
Lich King.
so, I mean,
I obviously love playing the game. I guess that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about more like
I miss
there
having
was
the time.
addiction there that
Yeah.
is now not the case at this age and the age of the game as well.
I
And
still play the game all the time. That's
Jim-
like my main game.
Jim is still
sure. Enjoying it
addicted.
versus being addicted to it is what I'm talking about, though. So
Yeah, well, I don't think I was ever addicted to it, I think. You know what I mean? It's like, because I always
sure,
would go...
I'm saying I was.
Yeah.
Let me restate this
I was
15 times.
I was at the beginning too. During vanilla, that was all I did was
Yeah, everybody was coming off of EverQuest,
to the
being called
detriment-
EverCrack and everything.
to the detriment of
it was horrible.
everything else. Now I am better. I've weaned myself off of it. And I don't think I'm really addicted to anything. There are days I don't play either Final Fantasy, certainly not WoW every day.
Not for weeks.
Not for weeks. Final Fantasy I only play because I log in every day because I have a house, and that's like having a mortgage. That's what the sub is essentially, is a mortgage for keeping my house. And so that's pretty much it. So I log in and I do a couple of little maintenance things, and then I log back out. And I would play it more, except for now WoW came out and I have to level and get myself into a good spot so I can be on maintenance for WoW too. But school still just started back up, and I have just 2 classes this semester, which is nice, but they're intro classes and they're boring. They're stupid classes. One of them I have a lab in, and I don't need the lab. It's basically a class where we just do small group work, and the lab I think it's incredibly unnecessary. The class I think is unnecessary, but that's a whole other thing. It's an unnecessary class.
No, I'm just saying. I just saw something. Apparently, somebody hit 80 as a neutral factionless Pandaren.
Oh my God! Already?
Only took them 18 hours, and they never left the Wandering Isle.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's the same guy, right? Double agent.
I don't know. It's the at GigaBear Panda is the account. I don't know if that's
Double agent.
GigaBear. It's not Double Agent. It's GigaBear.
Oh. Well, Double Agent was the one who had done it before.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking that. Yeah.
I don't know if Neutral Agent.
No, it was Double Agent.
I'm telling you,
Okay.
It's Neutral Agent.
Oh, maybe Double Agent was the achievement.
Double Agent was the character. Neutral Agent was somebody. What? Why did they change names or something?
Maybe.
Because they said Neutral Agent. I don't know why this says. Anyway, yeah, Double Agent. I don't know why the article said neutral. Lacey Veins is stupid.
Yeah. Yes. Agreed.
Anyway, thank you everybody for listening. Hopefully, if you are in the early access, you're enjoying it. Take the time, pick a flower, because you have to wait to
6 years to be able to let your vigor.
If not, hopefully the go live tomorrow works out for everybody, or I guess today if you're listening to this when it comes out. Other than that, yeah, we'll see what's up. Hopefully we'll get some dungeons in maybe for the next time, kind of see what that's all about. Maybe some more delves. Yeah,
I like delves.
Yeah, delves aren't bad.
Fun. Yeah, we'll
talk more about that next week. Do some more and kind of like get a feel for how they progress and whatnot.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. You can check us out at serverrestartin.com, and we'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.